Are you in search of a podcast that has answers to life's deepest questions? Well, this ain't it. Join friends as they discuss topics that might be mainstream but not common knowledge. From personal finance to starting a business, it's guaranteed to be intellectually stimulating. This is the I'm Not Dumb But podcast. And on this podcast, we're going to be talking about the human brain. My name is Cesar, joined today by Mitch.
Yo.
And Victor.
What's up?
What's up, fellas? How you guys doing?
Pretty good.
Chilling.
Pretty good. Yeah.
Doing good?
It's getting hot. Getting hot out here.
Yeah,
Getting hot in here?
man.
Well, that's your brain telling you might need to cool off, man.
Oh, shit.
Look at that.
Ooh, I like that little
Look at
segue.
that. Listen, on this podcast, we're going to be talking about the human brain. We're going to learn a couple of facts. We're going to debunk a couple of myths about the human brain. And we're going to finally solve the age-old question. Is the mitochondria the powerhouse of the cell?
Is that a question?
What did you guys learn from biology class?
That the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell.
Obviously.
Yeah. That is. It is.
Then it has been answered.
Established. Yeah,
It has been established.
We haven't unlocked all % of the brain or all parts of the brain.
Bro,
yet.
that's bullshit.
Wrong.
You use 100% of the brain.
Well, that's...
And Caesar will tell us if we're right or not.
Hey, let's debunk something right now. Of course, there is the myth that we only use 10% of our brains, which is actually false. We use 100% of our brain. The thing is, we're not using each part of our brain all the time. There's parts that we're going to use, and then other parts that are dormant. But we
Fuck
are using more
Lucy.
Yeah.
That movie, that Scarlett Johansson movie, that was
good,
bullshit.
She turned into something blue right at the end.
No, she turned into a USB stick at the end.
Really?
Yeah.
That
She
movie
turned
was
into
weird.
a USB stick at the end.
Was it
that
was
movie-
Lucy, right? Something like that.
Yeah, that movie it was cool, but it made no sense.
It made no sense. At the end, I was like, "What is this? What are we doing here?" What else do you guys know about the brain? Do you guys know any interesting facts that I can debunk right now?
Oh, every time you learn something, you get a wrinkle in your brain.
That I have no idea. I don't know if it's true or not. But I didn't come across it.
That's all I had. So it could still be true.
It could
Is
still
it-
be true.
A smarter
brain-
person is a more wrinklier brain.
Oh, your brain cells fry as you get older, right?
Fry?
Well, not they deteriorate. Your brain cells deteriorate as you
They
get older. I
probably,
guess,
they
right?
probably. I don't think they fry.
Yeah, my knees are deteriorating, and I'm only 37.
I'm frying, Mitch. I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm like,
I'm
my
frying.
knees.
God, my back is killing me 24/7.
But no, and I think the more wrinkly thing is, I think I saw an article that said that they looked at Einstein's brain and it looked fairly consistent with someone else's brain. But you might be right, Victor, that it was kind of like, I guess the folds were a little bit more compact.
Oh,
So maybe that's why he was the smartest man alive.
Interesting.
But here's another. Well, here's the thing. So, one of the topics I was going to discuss today was human intelligence, right? So they haven't figured out what area of the brain actually determines human intelligence. They think that it's a combination of everything. And what they honestly think is that smarter people, so-called smarter people, have areas of the brain that are more connected than others. You know what I mean? So maybe because how many of us know these smart people textbook wise, but for other reasons they're like, yo, you're an idiot.
That's what I'm saying. Like Einstein could have been just amazing at math, but taking directions, he probably couldn't do that. I actually have no idea. But
That's for this argument, he didn't know shit about directions.
no, it's just you meet these people that are super smart, but and I'm saying, oh man, this guy's a genius, but he's super smart on one subject. I don't know if he's super smart with everything.
So is it like that saying book smart versus street smart kind of? Or, whatever street smart means, or just common sense in general?
Right.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of people like that. You come across, especially since I took all those biology courses, all those, science courses. I met these brilliant people. Then at a certain point, I'm like, you are so smart. You can barely speak, though. You can't have a conversation. You just sounds off.
Right. They're really smart, but socially, they can't pick up
Awkward, yeah.
cues. They can't, not even awkward. They can't pick up cues. they can't detect like sarcasm all the time, like,
Mhm.
and it's like, okay, like, you know, I thought you were smart, but like you're lacking in some fields. Yeah.
Now, can you learn to be smart? Like, do you know what I'm trying to say? Can you like study as much as you can to be smart, or is it like genetic?
I think you could study.
I think you
Why
would
not?
say. I think right. There is a genetic component to everything, right? You get to a certain point. Yeah, I
Everyone
think
has
so.
the potential to be like, quote unquote, a smart person.
Yes.
But then you have like the geniuses who are like, that's genetic.
But you have like people with photographic memory, right? And it's like the ability to study for them, it would probably be much easier than someone like me who has to sit here and read and read and read the same thing over and over again to really hammer it down.
Right.
Versus if someone with photographic memory can just probably look at it and just say like, okay, I read it once, I have it memorized, and that's it.
So I feel like for me, because my wife and I are both teachers, and we have to take teacher exams, right? And there's one exam called the CST multi-subject exam. It's pretty hard. It's ELA, math, and like science, social studies. And I remember like the way I study is I have like music. I have to have like some kind of like lo-fi hip hop kind of whatever in the background. And then, but like I study, but then that's it. Like I don't need to like keep going studying. And I passed every test first try. But like my wife, she like, gets index cards and like studying like crazy.
Because you're smarter than her. She doesn't listen to this, right?
No.
So I wanted to ask you guys, like, how do you guys study?
That's a good, well, I kind of like, for me, if everything's quiet, I can't focus.
Mm.
I have to have some, but I can't have like music with words. It has to just be like, instrumental. Or
Yeah.
like I like lo-fi hip hop, just kind of like sounds, and it just kind of gets me focused, and then I just start studying.
I like jazz. And I like, but not like, I like coffee house jazz, but a little slower, but still a little upbeat. No words. But I have to rewrite everything.
Yeah.
Like I have to.
Like notes.
I understand, and it sinks into my brain faster if I write stuff, and I can just go over like chapters maybe once or twice or 3 times, but I still have to rewrite them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Cesar, I'm with you. I need to rewrite anything to really memorize it.
I'm about to burst one of the biggest brain myth bubbles ever. You want to hear it? Has to do with Mozart, has to do with studying. So,
lay it on us.
Some people believe in the Mozart effect, which suggests that listening to Mozart can increase memory and help concentration.
Isn't that when you're a baby?
Well, when you're a baby, your brain can. I don't think you need music for that.
Well, they put music like on the belly.
Yeah, don't they do that? They put like Mozart. Women play Mozart onto their stomachs to be like, my baby's gonna be smart if it just listens. It like to
stimulates them or something.
Anything can stimulate them. Heat can stimulate.
So you're a little smarter if you listen to Mozart. No.
There's that the myth, right? There's that theory that if you listen to Mozart while you're studying, it's gonna help increase your memory and concentration. While certain kinds of music can help memory concentrations, there is nothing specifically special or unique about listening to Mozart.
Oh, I can't study and listen to music. I need silence.
Really?
Oh, really?
Yeah, I need silence. Not like silent, but like I can't be listening to anything, have the TV on, nothing. Like,
but I tend to
ambient
drown
noises
it out.
are okay. I pick up on everything.
I drown out the music behind me. So speaking of intelligence, you guys remember Limitless?
Yeah,
the movie,
great movie.
Our boy Bradley Cooper.
I like the movie. It was good.
It was good. So in the movie, he takes the that pill, that NZT48 smart drug.
Isn't that like just the pill for the ADHD or some shit?
So it was
Adderall. Isn't that Adderall?
I've seen it's loosely based on that.
I saw a whole Reddit thread. Someone was like, "Is there a real version of this NZT limitless drug?" A whole thing be like, "Bro, take Adderall. You'll never feel the same again." Like he'll just be studying and shit and fucking doing everything.
You know what's crazy about that though? In college, when I used to be taking all these crazy exams, and I used to be like, I was an okay student, and that was mostly because of my study habits. Here, like people be like, "Oh, I did this and I did that," and then when I graduated, I found out that like a majority of the kids I was with were taking Adderall. I'm like, yo, so I was failing on my own, and y'all were passing and cheating. Should have taken that stuff.
It's not cheating. They studied.
Studied ish.
No, they had to study. Yeah, it's an enhanced. Like it's like speed or some shit.
It's like a care package, like
to
help you out.
It is a care package.
Yeah.
Care package on the way.
I heard once one person took it, and writing essays was the worst. From what I heard, they were like, yo, I spent an hour on the word duh, because I was trying to get the perfect word. I was like, that sounds terrible.
Have you guys ever indulged?
No.
I wish.
No, me neither. I've never done it.
All those hard tests I would have taken.
I know.
I mean, that I did take, but so yeah.
How about IQ tests? Are they bullshit? I've heard that like IQ tests aren't really a measure of your intelligence. They're kind of like biased.
So
from what I heard, it's not a good measure of intelligence, but it's the best we have.
A lot of the times I feel like what they try to do, they try to like find like a baseline, right? And a lot of those exams are trying to find a baseline of where we are within a certain group, right? So one of the studies that I told you about earlier, they took like I think 110 people and they tested them for their IQs. And what they found out was that people with so-called higher IQs had brains that were naturally wired differently.
Mm.
So the pattern of connectivity between the brains just seemed to have engaged different parts of the brain that allowed them to be quote unquote smarter.
Mm.
But that's why they've come out with other different tests, like the emotional quotient, I think, EQ test, where it's not just testing your your intelligence in terms of like book smart, but you're actually emotionally intelligent. Are you able to distinguish between different emotions and stuff? Or like when was the last time?
Cues or something like
that?
Yeah,
when was the last time you guys did an interview? Did you guys have to do that? It's like 100 questions. Did you guys ever do that?
No. I went on an interview like I don't know, maybe a month ago.
Oh really?
Yeah.
There are some jobs that they give you like this test where they ask you questions, and a lot of the times the questions they're trying to find out if you're lying or what kind of person you are, and a lot of the questions are the same questions, they're just worded differently.
I've seen that. I've had that before.
Yeah, I think that's
like
one
the
of
same question.
It's the same question, just asked different ways.
Yeah, and then it's funny because you realize it's the same question, and you're like, I just answered this, but then it's like you don't want to answer the same way, you know. So you kind of give the same answer but differently. It's weird.
Sounds like Mitch is like he's like a psychopath, and he failed that question, and now he's trying to hide it.
I'm not crazy. My mother had me tested.
But yeah, so intelligence, I don't know. Like those IQ exams, I'm not,
Have you guys ever seen that YouTube video of they ask a group of people to rate themselves in order of IQ? And like, so they'll go through, it's like a group of like, I want to say like 8 people, right? So they all speak and they all say like what they do for a living, what's their education. And one girl is like...
Me, I don't know. PhD, cancer biology scientist. I work in a biotech company. We make COVID-19 testing kits, stuff like that. And
then there's one guy, he's like, oh, I work for the Marines and all this other thing. And so they had the girl put everyone in order in what you think highest to lowest of IQ is. And she's like, well, I have all this thing, so I'm number 1. And then, everyone's down and the Marines all the way at the bottom because, no offense, but, you don't look like you're very smart. They put them all in order. She had the lowest IQ. He had the highest, or one of the highest.
Degrees don't mean shit.
So it's like accolades don't mean
just hard
anything.
work.
Yeah.
Just hard work.
But hard work is a good quality too, though.
School is not a measure of your intelligence. It's a measure of can you show up on time to do the work,
effort
every day. Yeah. Can you put in the work? And it's not even a like other people can't. You can. It's a measure. It's just we're gonna put you through this exercise to see if you can do it.
Bro, I'll take myself as an example. My undergrad GPA was trash. And then if you look at my master's GPA, you're like, it's like a completely different person. I'm the same person, and had the same facilities, same faculty, same. The only difference is drive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I literally showed up every day, and I wanted to do well. So degrees doesn't. I don't think it translates to you being smarter. Because in that case, I'd be the smartest man alive.
Ooh.
With all my degrees.
Let's see your IQ. Is there an IQ test we can take to see if we're
but then if I get it wrong, we're gonna have to edit this whole thing out.
Yeah. But I meant for like after we can
probably
we can circle back to this at a later time.
So Limitless, he took this super smart drug, and I found out like there are some drugs on the market right now, and they're called new neurotropics. There's nothing like the movies though, because a lot of these drugs are not FDA approved, but they have FDA approved substances within it. So they I went to I think Walgreens or CVS, one of them today, and I saw one. It was like, I'll tell you the name of it.
Is it Alpha Brain?
It's not Alpha Brain. It was
I don't know what the fuck that is.
Promax nootropic something energy
Promax?
support. Promax nootropic. It was like $35. And then I looked at the ingredients, and there's like a lot of herbs, like ginkgo, a lot of like nothing that will,
lion's mane. Dude, all these mushrooms have been coming out like lately. Yeah.
I've heard lion's mane is like crazy, like healthy for you or some shit.
Yeah.
What is that?
It's a type of mushroom. Victor and I know about it.
No, because I'm going to talk a little bit about psychedelics in the brain. So mushrooms is, right on the track on that.
Well, that's something, things that affect the brain, right?
Yeah, because a lot of these drugs, the synthetics, what I just mentioned had a lot of what I think are more natural, organic ingredients, right? But the synthetic drugs are created to try to mimic molecules that the brain uses. So in terms of like psychedelics, right? They've studied this to try to figure out what are the effects on the brain, and what they've realized is that psychedelics actually changes the activity of the brain. Parts of the brain that are normally like robust and active, when you're on psychedelics, they kind of like dim down, and other areas start to uptake.
So you think, the creative part of your brain starts to like.
I don't know if it's a creative part, or just like parts that maybe are, I don't know, like maybe like they aren't that active in an individual, and those start to communicate more, which like in LSD, they have receptors in the brain that kind of mimic areas in the brain that are for cognition and self-awareness. So when you're on LSD, these psychedelics, it kind of like cause that perceptual distortion.
Isn't that the same as like alcohol too? Like for that matter,
I have but
isn't alcohol damper your intelligence?
I have. Well, I don't know if it dampers, but I think you guys want to debunk a myth right now.
Sure.
About alcohol?
Yeah,
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
I'll give you a good one.
I don't drink and think, man, I'm the smartest man in the world right now.
No.
Well, I don't think I wasn't thinking as far as like smart, but like
I think it lowers your inhibition,
right? Or like lowers your inhibitions, but also like possibly things you wouldn't do when you were sober. It's like I'm gonna do them now. Like a confidence
inhibitions. That's your inhibitions.
It's like a confidence booster, I guess.
What's it called?
Liquid courage.
Liquid courage. Yes.
Liquid courage.
Yeah.
But here's a myth that we're about to debunk right now. So you guys know? Have you guys ever blacked out?
Once.
Once.
Yeah. Mitch is
many times.
Mitch mastered blacking out.
I'm a professional. This is what I do.
Is that why you bought so many shoes?
Probably.
Blacked out and started buying shoes.
Check out our sneaker culture episode.
Yeah, sneaker one. It's a great one. So if you were drinking last weekend, right, and you don't remember what happened, it isn't because you forgot. It's actually because under the influence of alcohol, you can't form new memories.
You can't form new memories.
Yeah, you can't form new memories under the.
Wow.
It's not that
So
you
it's not
forgot. You didn't have the memories.
Yeah,
to
you
begin
didn't
with.
have them. So like
So that like
the
connection.
the cells in the brain that are supposed to be connecting while you're normal, when alcohol gets involved, they kind of lax, and they kind of like they don't make a connection at all. So it's not like you have memories. No. You just didn't have them. You didn't forget them, which makes sense because like I think the last time I blacked out, all I remember was like taking a shot of Cuervo, leaving my apartment, and then waking up. I'm like, yo, what happened?
I have no memory of this place.
What happened?
So, but how about the ability to black out? Is that just different for? Because I know some people that black out all the fucking time, or I knew some people that blacked out all the time. And like, for example, Mitch. And then there's someone like me. Is it I'm just not drinking enough to black out, or do I have a different blackout threshold?
Probably both. But I'm assuming it's you're not drinking enough. Tequila was the only thing that really did it. Was the only thing that really did it. No other alcohol did it to me.
Well, that's the thing. It depends on the alcohol for each person, right? Because some like I can drink vodka and not have anything, but then if I drink Irish whiskey, then it's a game changer. Yeah.
But how are you drinking? Maybe you're drinking vodka differently than you drink whiskey. Like, for instance,
True.
Are you taking shots of one, but you would never take shots of the other? You would always use that as a mixed drink. I don't know.
Did you eat? Did you eat? Did you sleep a lot?
Well, dude,
There's a lot of factors.
This was in my 20s, so this was a long time ago.
So you definitely slept. You slept a lot. You ate a lot.
But yeah, but that's, did you eat a lot that night? What did you eat that night?
I'm sure there's variables, that can cause. Well, there's especially, I feel like the carbohydrates in your system definitely soak it up. And if you don't have any, when I did keto for like 7 months, 1 or 2 drinks, I'm like, whoa, feeling it.
Yeah. You're like, this is.
So we talked about alcohol. We talked a little bit of psychedelics. And you know who talks about this all the time too, the psychedelics? Joe Rogan, our boy Joe. Always talk about psychedelics.
Jamie, pull that video up.
I don't know what he talks about.
Talks about money making moves.
He talks about the same shit every fucking time.
Have you heard of him talking about ayahuasca?
Yeah.
Bro, I want to try that.
I had a friend who tried it, and they said it was. They went to somewhere, a different universe.
That's what I heard.
Yeah. Like I've had people describe like trips to me, like either like acid trips or fucking shroom trips. He couldn't describe it. He was like on a different plane of existence.
Bro, I've heard different stories. I've heard like that you talk to yourself. Like you talk to you talk to Mother Earth. She comes and talks to you because I think ayahuasca
it's different for everybody though.
Everybody it kind of poisoning you? Because at the end, like you throw up. Like it's
before your trip, apparently you throw up violently. Like you're just constantly throwing up.
It's after, then you feel the effects of it.
Yeah.
I heard you see like wounds that you like have deep hidden inside you. Sounds like a good time. It's funny because go ahead.
With that though, with those like is that permanently changing your brain? Like do they have you ever heard of a study that the way people talk about it, it's like they see a different perspective on life after that?
I think that's just a drug. What I think tends to happen is you have these receptors in your brain, right? And that's why people get addicted to these other types of drugs, right? Where you get like this dopamine hit, and after a certain point, the body gets desensitized to a certain amount. So you're gonna need, and you need to increase it more and more and more and more, and that over time does change your brain.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
No, like people, let's say like, you have 2 people, right? One person can have like 2 drinks and then they're like, oh, I'm good. I don't need any more. But then you have another person that's like, if I have 1 drink, I'm going like, it's going to go to 10 to 15 drinks. Is there an addictive part of the brain that triggers first? Like, is that learned behavior or is that something that all people are born with or is just random? Like, what do you think?
I'm not sure, but I've heard that alcoholism runs in the family, right? So if
Like a
you
genetic
have,
trait, yeah.
yeah. So I think there might be a genetic component to it.
So there's
So
a genetic component for addiction.
For addiction, yeah. For addiction. I know
Oh,
that
wow.
if I can't just have one beer, but I'm not going to go to like 20. You know what I mean? Like, I go to a bar, they're like, you can have, no, I'm like, I'm not going to have one beer. I'm going to have a couple. But like, I know my limit, of course. But but there's other parts of me where like, I see candy. I'm like, I'm going to eat all of it. You know what I mean? There's,
Yeah.
That goes with food too. Food is a
right?
big
I'm
one.
assuming like everyone has.
I'm that way with sugar as
right?
well. I can stop drinking, but I will eat an entire fucking thing of Oreos.
Easy.
Easy.
Yeah, if there's like ever like any kind of like cake or like cookies at home, I'm like, I'm good. And then if I keep seeing it, I'm like, I gotta let me have a piece. I'll have a small piece.
For me,
like
it's
another
this.
small piece.
For me, it's I don't have to buy it in the store. If I'm in the store and I see it, I can just walk right by it. I don't feel like buying it.
Yeah, same.
Nope.
But if it's in my house, I'm destroying it.
Yeah,
That's
if it's
all
home.
I'm eating.
How's it going to your house if you don't buy it in the store?
No, well, people give me shit.
Leftovers, something
Yeah,
like
leftovers. People give me desserts. My parents give me like M&Ms, peanut M&Ms for gifts because
Those are the best.
I love them.
that. I love
I'll
peanut
eat
M&Ms.
nothing but that. There's times that they'll send me, when I was in the military, they used to send me care packages and used to have like a family pack of peanut M&Ms. I wouldn't eat that day. That's all I would eat.
What do you have, a stomach ache afterwards?
Yes, sometimes.
Yeah. That coating messes you up.
You're like, I don't care.
I don't care. It tastes
No, I've
so
done
good.
it. Trust me. I got issues too. So I think everyone has like this addictive part of you. It just depends on what it is. Some people, unfortunately, are addicted to the harder substances like, drugs and, liquor and stuff. But I think everyone has that. I think the brain.
I guess there's levels. There's levels to addiction.
Yeah, there's levels to this. Funny story about the ayahuasca though. Graham Hancock, that's the one he was talking about. He was talking about on Joe Rogan.
He was just on Flagrant, by the way. Go watch that one.
So he was talking about his trip. He was talking about how it's cool. Everybody should do it. So I had the chance to go to Peru. And I'm in Peru for like a week and a half. And I'm like, yo, I'm going to do it. Because from what I understood is you need a shaman. You need a special this and special that. So the whole week I'm like trying to find one. Kind of scared.
You're just
trying not.
running around the streets. Yo, do you know where I can find a shaman?
Bro.
You're just asking for trouble.
The week went by. I didn't see anything ayahuasca. I'm walking out to jump on the bus to go to the airport. It's like a little convenience store next to me. I'm looking at the signs. It's like llama, this, Machu Picchu, and then right there, ayahuasca.
Oh,
I'm like, yo, it was literally next to me the whole time. The whole time. So, that was my ayahuasca Peru.
Wasn't meant to be.
Wasn't meant to be. But so yeah, we talked about psychedelics. We talked about intelligence.
But like with psychedelics, because we briefly spoke about addiction. But like psychedelics, because there's stuff though that's naturally addictive, and then there's things that aren't addictive, like marijuana. It's not physically addictive, right? Things like shrooms and things like that are also not physically addictive, as opposed to like nicotine, which is straight up physically addictive. Like your body starts craving it.
Yeah.
So is something like that altering the brain physically?
Yeah. With every exposure, I'm assuming that it's gonna change the brain. It's gonna change it because, like I said, over time, those receptors. Because what a lot of these synthetic things are doing is that they're just mimicking other chemicals that your brain
already has, right?
Already has. Like I'm gonna give you guys an example. Like coffee, caffeine.
Right.
Do you know how caffeine works? Do you guys know?
Actually, no.
All right. So
I know it makes you poop, and it makes
diuretic.
Yeah, it makes you poop, and then it makes you fucking it turns you up to 11.
Does coffee do that to you guys though? I feel like it doesn't do anything to me, and I don't drink a lot of coffee.
You gotta drink more, bro. You're not doing it right.
Yeah, apparently you're not drinking it.
Like
what are you drinking,
little kid?
Yeah, you get the cafe.
No, I do. I feel I have like a cup or two, but like it's not that I get like I'm tired and I drink it. I'm up.
Are you mainlining it?
I drink it black. Yeah.
No, are you mainlining it? You're getting right into the veins.
Oh no.
Are you snorting the powder?
It doesn't
I
get me
be
jittery
dri-
though. Like, is that what you mean? Like by up, like jittery?
Well, I mean, I've heard of people that drink too much of it, and then they're like shaking, and they're like, "Oh, I need a cup of coffee."
Well, how much? Yeah, maybe you don't drink enough.
Yeah,
Because
I don't-
I barely ever drink coffee, and it
Yeah.
doesn't have that effect on me.
Bro,
Right.
with the amount of coffee and energy drinks that I drink, like my caffeine tolerance is probably high.
Like I'll have, for example, I can drink a small Red Bull. I don't do it often, and I can go to sleep probably right after. Like it does not keep me up.
Yeah.
Monster's the same thing.
Right.
I've been on Celsius lately.
Sauces are good.
Yeah. I
Is
like
that an
Celsius.
energy drink?
Yeah.
Like a
It's like-
focus
It's
kinda
like
thing, yeah.
they
It's
say
good.
it's like one of the I mean, no energy drink is healthy, but it's like one of the healthiest energy drinks, I guess.
Everyone at work, they either drink Monster or C4.
Dude, C4 gets you. What's that
Nah,
thing
man.
that it gets you all tingly?
Beta aniline.
Yeah, pre-workout, whatever. I drank that before. I was like, what is this? Like, why am I feeling this?
Your spider sense tingling, bro.
Yeah.
Spider sense is tingling.
But so quickly, like caffeine, right? Caffeine from coffee is quickly absorbed by the GI tract. And you know what? You can absorb caffeine from cold drinks faster than you from hot drinks. So if you drink, so the next time you're drinking coffee, try drinking it cold and
Iced
see if
coffee?
you feel a little bit, a little bit more jittery. But what caffeine actually does, right? It hinders the action of this chemical in your brain. It's called, I'm not even going to say the word because I'm going to say it anyway. It's adenosine, right? That's the name of the chemical. So what coffee does is it actually mimics it. So when you drink coffee, it goes to your brain and it mimics this chemical. And what this chemical does is kind of brings you down a little bit throughout the day. So when caffeine comes in, the body recognizes the caffeine first and says, "Oh, okay, let me drink this." So technically, the caffeine isn't really giving you energy. It's actually just removing that other substance, so it doesn't bring you down.
Oh,
Yeah, that's how caffeine works.
interesting.
So it kind of short circuits the brain by tricking it, and that's what a lot of these earlier, like what I mentioned, is these synthetic compounds, these synthetic drugs. That's what they do. They kind of mimic these other sort of molecules or sort of substances that the brain attaches to itself first and say, "Oh, I like this," instead of that. So over time, you're gonna see changes. I don't know if you're gonna see physical changes within the brain, but I know you're gonna see. It's gonna take more of that substance to get the same amount of hit, which is why probably drug addicts, they need more and more and more and more and more and more because that first initial hit, you're never gonna get that again.
And I know as far as like the chemicals in your brain and what your body produces, like a lot of, and you guys said it before, it's like synthetic, like you're looking for that hit of like, let's say dopamine or like, some of the other ones, where your body produces it naturally, like even like melatonin, you know what I mean? To make you fall asleep. But like some people need more of it, but like, do you really need more of it? Or it's just like, you just want that extra hit of dopamine, or you just want to like, I can't fall asleep right now because I'm on my phone for like in bed for like 12 hours. So like, let me just take melatonin to fall asleep. It's like,
Instead of just putting it on your phone.
exactly. I feel like people just don't, you can just turn it off or just be like, yeah, let me just naturally get it. And, that's fine. But like you said, addiction is real and people are like, I'm just going to keep taking it or keep doing it.
Me and monsters, man. Sometimes I don't even really need it. I just like the taste of it, and psychologically, I'm like, oh yeah, it's gonna.
For me, it's the same
Isn't
way.
there a ton of sugar in those as
Shit
well?
ton of sugar.
Wait, what are you drinking? Green, the black can?
I drink the blue or the green, bro.
No, white can, bro.
No.
Yeah,
He
white,
wants that
Those-
sugar.
white can.
No.
No,
Those
white
are like
can,
low sugar, right? No. They
They're
taste.
no.
They have
I mean,
more sugar.
they have sucralose in it. All of them have. It says no sugar, but there's sugar in it. But even like Celsius says no sugar, but there's sucralose in it, which is a form of sugar. But the black can, dude, that has like third, whatever, how many grams of sugar in it. Just white sugar.
But they have low sugar though. I mean, some of them are low carb now.
White can all day.
And it kind of tastes like Red Bull.
Dude, so we're speaking of like all like food, right? And the way food affects your brain. I was doing some research before on all these dyes that are in food, right?
Right.
The blue 6, red 40, red whatever, yellow whatever.
Yeah.
The way it affects your brain, especially in children, dude, I don't know if you've noticed. I mean, I'm a teacher, so I see it all the time with kids.
I don't hang out with kids very often, so.
But or like if you your niece and nephew, or like, or like just
it'd be weird if I like sit there like, oh yeah, I've noticed in children.
You guys want to see this dye?
You guys want to see this dye?
But not in like, or if you've seen it in the news, but like the way all these dyes affect the brain. How like have you noticed a lot of kids having ADHD nowadays, or like people are being diagnosed with all of these crazy mental issues lately? A lot of it has to do with a lot of the food and the chemicals that are in food nowadays.
I don't know, but is it that, or is it we didn't test for them back in the day? Like,
yeah, but we didn't have ADHD, the amount of ADHD that back then
or it just wasn't recorded as ADHD.
ADHD's been around forever.
Yeah, but like, no, I don't remember taking any tests for ADHD when I was a kid.
Didn't they used to give like Ritalin to kids because they didn't understand what it was? Yeah. I think a lot of the time is identifying the disease, right?
I just think it's like the same thing with like, isn't that the same thing with like autism? Like it's not increasing. It's just we have better ways to figure out what, and we have it. We don't call it just like you're either autistic or not autistic. We've come to realize it's a wide range.
Yeah. So speaking of that, Mitch, we're gonna transition now to memories. What do you guys think triggers the strongest memories? You think it's
traumatic events? I saw a whole thing on Malcolm Gladwell talking about memories.
Traumatic events? Because
because they were testing memories, right?
That is true too. Yeah.
They were trying to test what makes a good memory and what do you remember the best. And they were saying people's recollection of 9/11 was more accurate than other events in their life. It was significant, but like still wasn't perfect.
No, I agree with that. And then for me, my car accident that I had, that was like one of the most traumatic events in my life, but I remember it vividly.
I could see that.
And there's many other things that I, obviously don't remember, but
I could see that. But
traumatic events is one too. That's a good one.
Memories are weird though. Memories are weird. Apparently, like when you look back on memories, you will get most of the details wrong. It's like you'll get more than 50% of the details wrong. And like even like things that we've experienced together, we'll both remember them completely, like either slightly or very differently.
Yeah. So they don't actually know how the brain
stores memory.
They have an idea of where memories are stored, different parts of the brain, but what they don't understand is how does retrieve a memory. You know how sometimes you have this memory that's stuck in the back of your mind, and you can remember. When someone asks you, you forget. You ever get those? Yeah. Or like when you're trying to figure out a word and you say it easy any type of day, whatever. But then when you really need it, you're like, damn, it's on the tip of my tongue and I can't remember. They don't know. They don't know how your brain actually kind of recollects all these memories and puts it together. They have an idea, but they're still trying to figure it out.
Or even like names. Like when you first see it, I'm terrible with names. Like if I see somebody,
What's that disease that you can't remember people's faces?
Oh, speaking of which, I think I came across that.
Dysphagia,
that's something else.
Something like that? I don't know.
Something. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. You know who does have it? Brad Pitt.
Yeah, I heard.
Really?
Yeah,
Brad Pitt has that disease. It's called face blindness or prosopagnosia, which is a neurological disorder characterized by the inability to recognize familiar faces. So although those who suffer from the condition are aware that they're perceiving a face, but they're unable to tell whose face they're seeing. Sometimes even when the face is that of a family member or themselves. So Brad Pitt has it, and I feel sorry for him because he revealed that often people don't believe that he can't recognize people's faces. So it's made him very sad and very alone. I doubt it. But that's what he says. He's like, how are you not going to remember your own face, man? You Brad Pitt, bro.
Brad Pitt, I'll hang out with you, bro. You can get my face wrong. That's all right. We can chill.
So yeah, maybe that's why every time you see him like on the red carpet, he's kind of like squinting a little bit. He's like,
he just needs glasses. He just needs glasses.
Just can't remember people's favorites. So yeah. Nice. So but the question I asked earlier, smells actually triggers also strong memories. Mm-hmm. So when you're smelling like your mom's kitchen, your mom's cooking, your mom's
vanilla,
cookies, it brings back a memory.
Strong ones too.
Vanilla used to be a popular, like I think a lip gloss or something. It used to be a smell that like girls used to use all the time, and
like the shiny ones.
Yeah, I think so. It was something. It was like something that girls used to put on.
Right? It was like in middle school, right?
Yeah. But it reminds me of this one girl in high school because she used to have it all the time. And like anytime I smell vanilla, I think of her. She fucked me for life with vanilla.
You want to know why? I'll tell you.
I do.
Yes. Yes, doctor, tell me. This is like a therapy session for me now. Can I get over her?
Actually, the reason why smells trigger such strong memories is because when the smell enters the nose, the brain kind of captures it, and then it goes back to the little area where your likes and dislikes are stored. So it creates a stronger connection between smells and memories. And that area of the brain is called the amygdala. It's kind of like a walnut shaped, a walnut shaped little
amygdala.
Yeah. So you can, whatever your likes are, you can, or dislikes, you can just blame it in that little part of the brain.
What about
the medulla oblongata?
That I wish I would have. I think isn't that like a connection in the brain somewhere? I think that's what it is. It connects to parts of the brain. I'm not sure.
It's what makes alligators. Yeah, what makes alligators so angry because they don't brush their teeth.
So
they got so many teeth, it's hard for them to brush it.
But so yeah, the brain is broken up into different parts. I can't get into it because it's so complex. I decided to keep it just to two different parts that we should probably know about. The back of the brain, or towards the back of the head, is called the cerebellum. Not to be confused with the country music group Lady Antebellum. Don't confuse those two.
I wouldn't think to confuse those two. I don't even.
You never heard?
I've heard of them, but I've never. I couldn't tell you a song.
They created the only country song that I've ever liked. I think it's like "Need You Now" or "Want You Now," something like that. But that's the only country song that I like.
Are you telling me you don't like any of Shania Twain?
No.
My favorite is Chicken Fried.
Chicken Fried?
It's Chicken Fried.
A little bit of Chicken Fried. Cold beer on a Friday night. You never heard that song?
No.
Oh man, that's the greatest.
I don't listen to country.
Ever. Me neither, but
that's a good question. What song, if I go through your Spotify right now, what song would I be like, Victor, you listen to this?
Oh, I couldn't even tell you.
There's not one song that pops out. Like mine was that country one.
No, my shit is all over the place.
But even all over the place, there's not one song you'd be like, yeah, I'm kind of embarrassed, but I love it.
No, I'm proud of all my fucking weird music tastes.
Because you're a weirdo, man.
I got some fucking Lana Del Rey in there. I got some fucking...
That's not bad.
Right? I don't think it's bad. I got a shit ton of Tay Swift.
All right, there you go. There you go.
Not proud of, that's nothing to be ashamed of. Tay Swift is amazing.
Yeah, she's all right.
I've been listening to Kids Trap with the kids. Called Kids Trap. It's like hip hop music for kids though.
Really? So do the kids sing it? Because I hate that.
Yeah, well, it's
Mitch. What are you talking about?
It's not this music that's all out nowadays. It's repetitive music for the kids for them to remember, but it's like good.
Hip hop for the kids is called Wu-Tang Clan.
None of fuck with it.
Wu-Tang for life.
Wu-Tang is for the children. Okay, that's why they made it. So you get Get your kids on that early.
So this music, like, wait, so it's just music for you to remember stuff too?
No, it's hip hop music, like hip hop beats and all that stuff. It's called kids trap, and like trap music. I guess that's this new music out.
So
nowadays,
instead of
but-
shooting guns, they talk about like chewing gum.
no, well, yeah, anything. They talk about
Really?
eating
Because they shoot
pancakes.
guns
They
in
talk
schools
about-
all the
That's
time.
true.
So
That's true.
these kids must be listening to that.
That's true.
but it's it's just clean. It's clean music for kids.
Huh. Is it like the chorus of kids or just one person singing?
No, it's a guy, and sometimes there's other people on it too, and they there's like a whole verse and chorus and stuff like that.
Yeah. That's cool. So yeah, that's one. That's the towards the back of the brain, towards the back of the head, the cerebellum.
When they start figuring all this shit out?
So the earliest studies of the brain were actually done by the Egyptians, which is funny because they actually thought the brain was useless for the afterlife. That's why when they did all these mummifications, they just took like that iron, that hot iron, just liquefied it and just sucked it out the
to
nose.
scramble your brain so they can get it out.
So they can get it out. They thought the heart was the most important organ. But
If
they
you're
were the
Captain
first.
Planet,
Huh? Captain
there's
Planet?
no brain in Captain Planet. They don't go brain.
They don't.
It's the one with
heart.
the heart. Heart. It's earth, fire, wind, heart. So the Egyptians still might be right.
Might be. But they think that the heart was the most important organ. And I think when everyone considers like emotions, right? Love, likes. What's the first organ that they tend to think of?
Your heart.
Your heart, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, your heart, and everything's marketed towards heart. But they're wrong. You're wrong.
Yeah, but like, are you gonna have like brain-shaped things? Like that doesn't
That's
sound.
true.
It's not marketable.
Yeah,
It's
it's not
not.
marketable.
It's not. It's it.
Oh, here's
And
here, honey. Happy Valentine's Day. Here's my brain-shaped chocolate. Like, the
Hey,
fuck
that
is
wouldn't
that?
be that bad. Wouldn't be bad. Wouldn't be bad. But yeah, the heart. They consider it where emotion is, but actually, the limbic system is the part of the brain that controls your emotions, controls your likes and dislikes. And speaking of the Egyptians, you guys know the Eye of Horus. You know what that is? Like that
I've heard of that.
all-seeing eye or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah.
Okay,
No,
I've heard of
Heard
it.
of it.
Maybe.
You've seen it. And you see like pictures of it. That's actually a representation of the limbic system inside the brain.
Huh.
Oh, like your third eye.
Yeah, the third eye. That's literally.
I've heard of that. Yes.
So it's a group of structures that is attributed to like your emotions, all that stuff. So your heart just doesn't have to do any of that bullshit.
You know what I heard? The way that they found out like what parts of the brain do what is through people with brain damage. That was their best way of figuring out what parts of the brain actually do what.
Yeah.
Because they would find people with brain damage and they'd be like, okay, you this is fucked up on this end and you're still able to read and write and all this other shit.
There is a story, I think, in psychology or in one class that I learned about this guy named, I think it was Phineas Gage, where he was like doing something on the railroad tracks. There was like this was in the 1800s, and a rod went through his head, and I think went through like parts of the brain, and he passed out. He came to, and he looked normal. He still had all his functions. But after a while, they realized that he had no sort of filter. He was super aggressive, just saying the craziest things, cursing, lack of memory. So that's when they first started to like realize that the parts of the brain, each part of the brain had like its own little function, and maybe if one of them gets kind of like messed up, the other parts are still active.
I've seen one guy. He had like some kind of injury, and like they had to have brain surgery. He took like this part of his brain out of his head, and it's like an indent or something. Have you seen that?
I've seen that on certain people. Yeah.
Do you know why?
No, he got into some kind of accident, but he like survived, and literally like they took part of his brain out, and he has like a, but he's still alive, and
some of his functions are some of his brain functions are probably limited, but but yeah, he's
How
still
about
alive.
like they talk about like left brain, right brain people. Is that really a thing?
So do you think you're a left brain person or a right brain person?
I don't know which one's which. Which one's isn't like one's creative side, one's more logical side, or some shit
What do you
like
think?
that.
What are they? Don't Google it, Mitch. Don't Google it.
Well, I just need to.
Don't Google it. I have a myth. I'm about to debunk it. Don't Google
I
it.
don't feel that I'm anything. I feel like I'm equal parts
isn't
dumb.
Isn't left brain the creative side?
Sure.
Or what is to be told as the creative side?
I don't know. I don't feel that I'm more creative or anything else.
You guys ready?
I feel like I'm middle-brained.
It's all bullshit. There's no left such thing as it's no such thing. It's no such thing. What is a thing is you use all parts of your brain, right? Depending on the different functions, whatever, you more artistic, whatever. What is an actual thing is that the left part of the brain controls the right part of the body, and vice versa. So if you have, like, say, brain damage on your right hand, on your right part of your brain, or if you have a stroke on the right part of your brain, you're gonna have paralysis on your left side of your body.
I was gonna ask that if you have a stroke on your left side of your brain, it's your right side that
it's your right side that is affected, and they don't know why. They don't know why that exists. So why is they don't actually know why. Or from my research, I'm thinking that
Isn't like even after a stroke, doesn't the brain sometimes kind of try to compensate and try to retake control of that, like reprogram itself to get some motor function back on the other side?
I've heard of it. I've heard of the brain taking over. There's a thing called neuroplasticity, where it's like
that
the brain
fancy.
It's super fancy. I really don't know what it is, but I'm gonna bullshit it. But it's the ability for your brain to create new cells and new neurons. They thought that up to a certain point, I think at 25, your brain is fully formed, meaning you are who you are. It's nothing's gonna change. But I think with more research now, it could be bullshitting. They found out that like you're still able to create new connections and new pathways. So yeah, if someone with brain damage on one side, it might be possible with time and therapy and stuff that your brain might be able to compensate, not overcompensate completely, but it might be able to
Well, your brain is always, and that's the thing with like when you're younger, obviously it's better to learn things when you're younger, but even when you're older, you can still learn new things and still.
I thought that was on certain things though, like languages kids can pick up better. Listen, I've jumped onto Duolingo.
Duolingo?
Yeah, Duolingo.
Doesn't she sing?
Dua Lipa or something like that?
Yeah. The Duolingo language learning app, and then Rosetta Stone. I did all those as an adult. I don't remember shit.
Yeah, but do you use it every day, and do you use the language every day?
No, but I'm not. The point is to get ready to use the language, and it's like every time I jump onto it, it's like the first time I'm ever using it.
I use it for French. I've learned a couple of things.
Oui.
Je suis la fille.
I think you just cursed out my mama.
Parlez-vous français?
Je m'appelle Cesar. And we move on.
The accent's
I'm done. My French is out.
That's it. That's all I got.
I can count to like 5.
5%. No. I haven't learned that far yet.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Look at this fucking guy.
That's 7.
I know how to say
7.
cat.
Have you ever been to France?
Le chat.
I took French when I was in a Catholic school back in the day.
Oh, when you were a kid, right?
Yeah.
And then that somehow stuck.
Yeah.
There you go. But I'm learning it now.
Take Japanese now. I bet you won't fucking pick up any of it.
Well, I watched. There's one of the YouTube guys that I follow. He actually wanted to learn the language of Japanese, and he actually did a trip by himself in Japan. So he started in like one part of the island, and then basically backpacked and like road tripped to another part. But it was him by himself, and he like studied the Japanese language by himself, did lessons with somebody, and then went, and he was like, even he said it, and he was doing it for months. He learned a lot, but like he still couldn't have like full blown conversation. I think that's what you were saying, Victor. Like you learn it, but you don't really like know it.
That's not even what I was saying. Like if you are surrounded by it, you'll pick it up more.
I guess if you live there for like a certain, a long period of time.
Right, because you're interacting with people, you're hearing it all the time. If you're just like learning it here and then you won't hear it all day, or it won't be a part of your life.
Yeah.
You're not picking up on any of it. I met some people one time that they lived in Canada. They wanted their kids to learn French. And so they would only speak to their kids in like French at home for them to pick it up.
Well, that's what we try to do here. Speak Spanish.
Oh, this is you speak French to your kids?
Not yet. I got to learn it first.
Yeah, my parents know full Spanish fluently, but they never spoke it at home, so I don't know.
Right.
So now I want to talk about, before we start wrapping things up, social media and its effect on the brain. Like we are addicted to social media. We are, we're addicted to our phones. And there have been studies that say that heavy social media users perform worse on cognitive tests, especially those that examine their attention and their ability to multitask, compared to moderate to light social media users. Heavy users need to exert more effort to remain focused in the face of a distraction. So, Mitch, you're a teacher. What have you seen?
The addiction to social media is real with young kids. That I teach 10 and 11-year-olds. And even at that level, think about when we were kids, everything was like long form video. TV shows, commercials, or whatever, even like video games, right? Everything was more long form.
I wouldn't agree, but
well, most of it was
30-minute TV shows, all with commercials every fucking few minutes.
It was like 10 minutes of actual action time.
Well,
right.
Okay, but when I say long form, I mean longer than a 10-second video that you can just swipe, right? So that's longer form.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
If that's your definition of it, then yeah.
Right, but think about the videos that are out now, even YouTube Shorts. How long is that video? 10 to 30 seconds, right? Then you just swipe to the next one, 10 to 30 seconds, swipe to the next one. Same thing with TikTok. So a lot of these kids use TikTok now. TikTok is very quick. You're just kind of flying through it. And then their attention span has gotten shorter and shorter and shorter because they can't sit for a certain amount of time, or they can't pay attention to something for that amount of time, or for an extended period of time. So I think it's affected them really bad, and I think it's going to continue to get worse.
Do you think it's their attention span, or do you think it's the fact that they have so many options and they kind of the FOMO, like they have so many things that they can actually see, and they're like, okay, I want to see this, I want to see that.
Well, I think it's many things, because think about when we were kids. We had a lot of things that they have now. Like we had video games when we were kids. We had, all we wanted to do was play video games, or like watch TV or whatever. But now I think there's just so many options now. But even the video games now are different than what we had before. Like you can be on your phone on a video game and then have your device on something, and then have the TV doing something. Like you can be like this, look at your laptop real quick, do this, and then look at your TV that's playing and like watch that. There's so many different things that are can affect a kid's brain. They're being stimulated, so it's like they want quicker. I think that's what I've noticed.
I mean, I think adults are in the same boat.
Yeah.
Because also the
but we're adults now, so we can, there's a level of like control,
the videos kids see, like, so as an avid TikTok user, first of all, you see a lot of the same videos over and over again, and I don't mean the same exact video, but like there's trends that go through TikTok, and then there's 500,000 people that put out this almost the same video doing the same exact thing. So you see that, and you're just going to quickly scroll by it. Also, there's that. It's that whole thing with like clickbait, right? If nothing piques your attention within like 5 seconds of watching it, you're moving on to the next one, because it most likely wasn't worth watching.
Well, that's true. That's true too. Like, I mean, when I was younger, I used to watch cooking videos a lot, and like all the cooking videos were like, you know, on the Food Network or something like that, right? Now you can just watch like a YouTube short or a TikTok, whatever, and it's like boom, 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 boom. Like the guy's chopping food really quick. You can get the whole recipe in like, you know, 15, 20 seconds. But sometimes, even as an adult, now I find myself, and you know, I don't want to watch a 10-minute video on a recipe.
Right. Who's got time for that?
Exactly. I'd rather watch like, oh, this video is 30 seconds, tells you everything you need, and then boom, you make it. So
if you know there's garlic in it, you're not going to watch this guy cut garlic for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You just need to know, okay, there's garlic, there's onions, there's this. It's just like, it's also a time thing. Like, it's a time crunch. People value their time, I think, a lot more.
Right. Yeah.
Now we're going to sit around and listen to something for fucking, 6 hours.
But I've had kids in my class, dude. We talked about addiction before, but like where it's like you tell them to turn off the device and they're like, no, I'm playing a game and I can't get off this game and I'm going to get angry if I have to get off this game, and it's like,
not
dude, it's time to turn the device off. And the kids can't shut it off. Obviously not all kids, but there's some kids that just can't shut that off. It's scary. It's pretty crazy. I've had kids throw chairs and desks because they couldn't be on their device.
That's just immature.
That's a little ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think those kids may have other issues too.
Yeah, there's other things.
I'm not saying that's,
No, but it's probably a factor. Yeah, you're right.
I mean, that's just what they're latching onto. It's like their security blanket.
Yeah, probably.
All right. So before we wrap things up, I'm gonna go over a couple of fun facts for us. The first one, brain information is traveling up to speeds of 267 miles an hour, which is faster than any Formula One car.
How do you calculate that?
I don't know how they calculate it.
Electrons going to your brain and
I guess your response.
Stimuli. When you do this, when you want to, let's say, touch something, your touch goes to your brain gives it a response. It's traveling at an estimated 267 miles per hour. That's
not fast enough. That's not
faster than a Formula One car.
I need to up those numbers.
You need faster?
Those are rookie numbers.
Well, you need Monster then.
Well, think about in those like Olympic races, like 100-yard dash, right? When they shoot the gun, boom, you're like your quickness response or whatever it is.
Right.
Like who can, twitch the fastest, I guess.
That's all.
That makes sense, yeah.
This one's good too. The brain creates about 20 watts of electricity. So essentially your brain can power a few low watt light bulbs. You guys know that?
Yeah, didn't you fucking watch The Matrix, bro?
Yeah. They had light bulbs in The Matrix?
No, they were using people as batteries.
What?
You missed that whole fucking part? That's why they
for the machines, yes, when they were in the tubes.
We blocked out the sun so they couldn't be solar powered. Yes. So they used humans as batteries.
Because we run out,
we generate electricity.
Yes. All right.
He's beginning to believe.
So that's good. So this one's good for someone who thinks that they can multitask. There is no such thing as multitasking. There's only the brain switching from one task to another. When task switching, attention span, learning capacity, and overall mental performance is decreased significantly. Not only that, but task switching can temporarily decrease your IQ by 15 points.
No.
So when someone says, "Yo, I'm multitasking," no, you're not, bro. You're only doing one thing at a time. Don't bullshit me. This is a good one too. Brain freeze. You guys know brain freeze?
What's up with that?
Everybody's had brain freeze, right?
Yeah. Oh, you drink fucking terrible. I feel it coming. Yo, it's not my fault. Ice cream tastes so good. And then
you gotta stick your tongue at the top of your mouth. That's how you get rid of it.
Well, sir, while brain freeze feels as if the brain is in immense pain, is actually referred pain emanating from the roof of your mouth. After the quick squeeze, the blood vessels quickly reopen, This is called rebound dilation, and it sends a signal to your brain. So when your brain is actually feeling it, no, it's actually dilation from your roof of your mouth. So
Wow.
there's no
So
such
your
thing as
tongue
brain
is
freeze.
warming up the roof of your mouth, so you.
Yeah. So it's sending a signal to your brain, and you feel like brain freeze.
I've never done that, to be honest.
So,
I've heard of that. I've tried
I
it.
just
It
man
works.
through it.
ice cream, bro. You got to push through.
Yeah, you just push through. You just eat more ice cream. It'll go away.
You get numb. I'm numb to it.
And I think that is that. So Mitch, what'd you learn tonight, man?
I've learned that we have not, I guess, as a human race, discovered every part of the brain yet, as far as like functions, how things connect, or how things get disconnected. Pretty interesting.
What about you, Victor?
There's a lot of myths that were busted today, and
That too. Good point.
Now I feel that now that I don't know if I'm left brained or right brained, that's just bullshit. I have to go back to my crystals and see what they tell me I am.
Learned a couple of things while doing research for this. Caffeine doesn't actually give you energy. It actually just mimics something else, and
I pee a lot of caffeine out, to be honest.
You pee a lot of caffeine out. What does that even mean?
Anytime I drink coffee, right? The first or second time that I pee after drinking coffee, smells like coffee. So I looked up why, and they said because some bodies don't absorb all the caffeine, they'll just pee it out. And I guess my body just pees out caffeine.
Oh, is that why you don't really drink that much coffee?
Yeah, that's why I don't drink that much coffee.
Interesting.
Because I don't like my pee smelling. That's also why I don't eat asparagus. But even though I like asparagus, I think it tastes good. But
Went from the brain, learned about asparagus. I'm not a big fan.
of what? Asparagus?
Asparagus.
I think it tastes good. It's just I don't like
Or
my
Brussels
pea smelling.
sprouts.
I love Brussels
I
sprouts.
love
though.
Brussels sprouts.
You
You're
know
not getting the
those
right
bacon
Brussels sprouts.
ones? Nah, bro.
Brussels sprouts are delicious. You haven't had them right.
Yeah, you haven't had them right.
You've made them. And those
I
were
made
good,
them before
but-
you.
Yeah, those were good. But I
Get
still,
them nice and oven roasted, nice hot
Oh,
oven,
man.
425.
So good.
Nah, bro. Nah.
A little habanero honey on them.
Oh, some hot honey. That's been a thing nowadays, right? That's like a trend now.
Sounds good. So we hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you like what you heard, hope you pass this podcast along. Like, comment, and subscribe to wherever you get your podcast. And see you on the next one. Deuces.
See ya.
Peace.